But yeah, so in case you guys were not up to date on where the fuck Star has been, Star's been trying to sell her house and buy a new house. And it's going surprisingly well, but that process is just so involved. It's just taking up like all of my time. It's basically, I've added a 5th job into my trench coat. The act of buying and selling a house, 2 separate houses. For the record, it's a pain in the ass, but soon it shall be worth it, especially because soon I'll be in my new house and I will have fiber internet. I'm so fucking excited. I get to break up with Spectrum. I've been musing about the whole like house search process on Blueskis. So I know some of you guys know a little bit, but basically the place I live in is like roughly an hour and a half-ish from the closest city. And I moved up here to save some money because I figured, you know, I work for myself. I do all my work online. I can live anywhere with a post office and an internet connection, you know? So I moved up here because it was a hell of a lot cheaper. And so like my mortgage to buy a house, an entire house, like it's my next house is actually going to be smaller because I'm like, I bought this house and I got a good deal on it, but my God, it's too big for one person. There's like 2 entire rooms in this house that I just don't use. I bought this house because it was like way cheaper than, you know, renting an apartment in Austin, and I could actually own the place, which was nice. And I lived here for about 3 years, and then the loneliness reached a peak and I'm just like, I gotta get out of here. I have to spend an hour every time I want to drive into Austin, an hour in each direction, anytime I want to like visit friends or go to an event. And not only is it an hour, it's also half a tank of gas for the round trip. And that's a lot of money. And no one wants to come visit me because I'm so far away. So I have this wonderful house that's perfect for hosting and no one wants to come visit because I'm too far away. I just like, I had a mental breakdown is too dramatic, but I just had a little moment where something inside me just snapped and I'm like, I can't live like this anymore. I'm young. I need to be at the club. We started this house hunt process earlier this year. I've got a family friend who's a realtor and she's been great. She's been helping me with everything. And we were really nervous that it was gonna like, well, I was really nervous. She was, you know, the picture of confidence because she has to be, right? But I was really worried that my house was gonna take a long time to sell because a lot of the houses we were looking at were like, this house has been on the market for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. And I'm like, I can't put an offer on a new house until I sell my first one. What if it takes 6 months to sell? Guys, do you know how long it took for the first offer on my house to come in? Roughly 72 hours. We put it up right before the weekend, and we had a couple of showings over the weekend, which, by the way, talk about awkward. People kept coming over to my house to look at it, and I had to just like go take an awkward walk around my neighborhood and just be like, there's people I don't know in my house right now. They're in my house right now with my kittens. Oh my God. Selling your house is weird. The home viewing part, I think, is probably the weirdest part of selling your house because like I had to take all my anime girls down. I had to, you know, like make it presentable. And I'm just like, they don't know that this is the house of a fucking nerd. But they're in my house and they're touching my stuff and they're gonna be opening my cabinets. Oh my God. So we had like 3 or 4 groups come to look at the house. And within 72 hours, we had the first offer. The first offer ended up falling through for reasons I'm still not entirely sure about, but we actually thankfully had a backup offer. And so then what stressed me out was like, okay, we found someone to buy the house. Now I have to find a house for me to buy a new one. And we went and looked at like so many houses, chat. I didn't keep a count, but I think all told, we looked at close to like 20 different houses over the course of like 3 weeks. And like, all of them had like something weird about them that was just like, no. There was this one, it would have worked pretty well for me, but it had been on the market for like 6 months. And my realtor said that the reason it had probably been on the market for that long is because it was a 2-bedroom house. And 2-bedroom houses are apparently notoriously hard to sell because people need more space than that. They need the space allocated differently, like for families. And so I was like, this house would work super well for me, one person. What if I buy it and then I can't sell it because no one wants it? And I legitimately, the day after we went to that house, that night, I was laying in bed and thinking, okay, that house I do think would work pretty well for me. And then I had a nightmare about it. I had a literal nightmare about this house. I had a nightmare because also the other thing I didn't like about it was a 2-story house. It was like this little kind of condo style house, but the staircase was very claustrophobic and I had a nightmare that it collapsed inward on me. And I'm like, well, that's an omen. That's a fucking sign, babes. Also, that one had a bathroom in the pantry, so that was also just kind of like a weird thing about it. So we didn't end up getting that one. Bathroom in the pantry, I'm not kidding. So like the layout of this house, so like the kitchen was here, and then the living room was here, and then there were stairs. Back here, there was like a little pantry, there was like the door to the garage, which is here, but then there's a bathroom right here. So it's like, hey, this is the only bathroom on the first floor. I can imagine, like, you know, having friends over at that house and they're like, hey, Star, where's the bathroom? Oh, yeah, go in the pantry. Yeah, this is where we keep our laundry machines, our cleaning supplies, our food, and the bathroom. We did have a giggle about the secret hidden pantry bathroom. I keep thinking about that saying, you know, like, don't shit where you eat. Finding the toilet paper would have been easy, true. So what was more upsetting than finding houses that I didn't like just kind of over and over and over and over again was finding I've been calling it like the Starby dream house, you know, like Barbie dream house. I was like, I gotta find the Starby dream house. Whenever I was like talking to my mom and stuff, that was like the joking phrase I would use. We found one like 2 weeks after we started looking, one popped up that we found that we really liked. The layout was perfect. The size was perfect. There were like a couple of things I didn't like about it. Like it had black granite countertops, which is very much not my style. But I mean, they were nice. They were granite. You can't take that for granite. But anyway, what I loved about it is like it had this really pretty front office and it had like these cool built-in like glass shelves in the living room. And it was super cool and I loved it. But I couldn't put an offer on it because my house wasn't even on the market yet when we went to see it. But I was like, okay, as soon as I get my house on the market, which should happen in like 2 weeks or so, then I can put an offer on this house. And I mean, it's been on the market for 6 months. It's not just gonna disappear in the next like 2 weeks. Chat, it disappeared like 48 hours later. I was crushed. Heartbroken. I'd already like started planning like what I wanted to do with the house. It had a cute porch. The backyard wasn't huge, which is like one of the complaints I have about my current place is like the backyard's really big, so it's hard to maintain. It got snatched out from under us and I'm like, well, okay, I guess it wasn't meant to be then. I'll find the Starby dream house somewhere else. And a couple of days later, this like new house pops up on the market that's like beautiful. It's like this 2-story house, but most of the second story is open. It's got like a big loft space. And I was like, oh, I could use that loft as like my art studio / computer room. And like the kitchen's really pretty. The backyard's a little big, but there's a lot of trees. And it's so pretty and nice. Chat, we didn't even get to go see that one. Like the day before we were gonna go see it, it got bought with like a full price cash offer, just sniped out from under me. And I was like, what the fuck? I was so mad. I didn't even get to see it. In the grand scheme of things, maybe it's better I didn't get to see it, because then if I went to go see it and then fell in love with it even harder, it would have been even more crushing to lose it then. But it's the principle of the thing, you know? So a couple weeks then passed. We've got the house on the market. We got the first offer, but then I'm like, okay, well, I have to be out of this house by the end of the month now because the people want to buy the house. I don't have an option for a new place yet. Nothing good has really popped up since the 2 Starby dream houses that fell through. What do I do if we don't find anything before I have to be out of this house? I was panicking a little bit. I was like looking at short-term apartment rentals. I was looking at like extended stay hotels. Cause I could, you know, just have stayed with my parents for a couple days to weeks, but it would have been awkward. And my cats hate my parents' house because they have dogs. And then I was nervous because, you know, you're checking all the new listings every single day and you're just like, where am I gonna go? What are we gonna do? Nothing good has popped up in like several days. And I'm just, oh, none of these houses are good. What do I do? So what happened was there was this one house that my mom had seen, because my mom was helping me look for listings. She's retired. She's got nothing better to do. She helps me with stuff like that from time to time. I can like sick my mother on a task and be like, hey mom, I need a new table. And she's like, I will look at Facebook Marketplace every day. And I'm like, okay, thanks, Mom. So she was helping me look at listings and suss stuff out. And the problem, though, is that my mother doesn't quite understand budgetary restrictions. She knows, but she'd be like sending me houses that were like $20,000 out of my price range. And I'm like, yes, Mom, that's a very pretty house. Yes, it does meet all of the things that I want in a house. It is $20,000 more than my maximum budget, Mother. And she's like, I bet you could bring him down. And I'm like, $20,000, Mom, off their asking price? That's a lot. But there was this one house that my mom saw that was in like this really nice neighborhood. She's just like, so what about this one? And I'm like, I mean, yeah, it does look good. It doesn't look like there's anything super wrong with it. It's newly renovated, so that's nice. It's kind of cute. Nothing about it was really like wowing me. You know, just like from the pictures. I was just like, yeah, it's okay, but the price was like, you know, $20,000 out of my budget. And I'm like, yeah, it's cute, but it's not like $20,000 out of my asking price cute. And she's like, I know, but it's in a good neighborhood. Maybe we could at least go look at it. I'm like, yeah, I mean, maybe, but I almost feel like we'd be wasting the realtor's time. And so I kept brushing it off. But for some reason, she kept pushing it. He's like, are you sure you don't want to go see this one? Are you sure you don't want to go see this one? And I'm like, yes, Mom, I'm sure I don't want to go see it. I don't think we're going to be able to get them down that much on the asking price. And she's like, I think we could, but okay. So there was one afternoon a couple weeks ago. We were getting together for a family lunch. And on the way out of town, we were going to go look at like one house that had just popped up. And I wanted to go see it. Just, you know, on our way out of town. We were gonna go looking at some other neighborhoods like Sunday, but I was like, okay, just because we're gonna be in the neighborhood anyway, let's go look at like this one other house because it seems like it's in my price range. It seems like it's in kind of a nice neighborhood. Let's just go see it on our way out of town. And so we did. We went into town for family lunch. So it was me and my mom and my dad. And then my brother and his girlfriend were the ones that we were meeting. It was my brother's birthday. So we met them and we got lunch. And because they were with us, we invited them. We were like, hey, do you guys want to go see this house with us? And they were like, sure, we'll come see the house with you guys. So we went to go see the house. And the house was really bad. It was like $30K below my asking price, but it needed like $50K worth of renovations. And you know, the neighborhood looked nice enough, but like the overall neighborhood looked good, but the specific street this house was on was not very well taken care of. And it was kind of a shady street on this one neighborhood where it's like all the houses were a little bit more run down and we weren't sure what exactly, the vibes were bad. It was like this really nice neighborhood, but there was this one little section where just the vibes were bad. And that's the street that the house was on. Okay, yeah, sure. You know, hypothetically, I could gut this house, take the flooring out and put in new flooring that does not smell like cat pee. I could get fully new countertops. I could fix all the water damage. I could get a new AC and water heater and do all this shit and like completely re-landscape the backyard. Really make this house a gem. I could put so much money into this house and really make it my own. It's not going to fix the neighborhood. We were just like sitting there talking about it and I was feeling kind of demoralized at this point. We kind of were hoping that this one would work out because we're on kind of a deadline now because I got to be out of my house by this certain date. And this was like the best house that had popped up in the last couple weeks. And now I'm starting to get stressed because it's like, but what if there's gonna be nothing else better? But I don't want to put this much money into that house. I'm not really that much of a DIY girly when it comes to house stuff. And so like all five of us and my realtor are just sitting in the backyard and having this conversation together. And we're getting ready to leave. We're literally walking back to our cars. And my mom goes, hey, realtor. She like pulls my realtor aside because I said that the realtor was a family friend. The realtor is a friend of my mom's. So she pulls her aside and she's like, hey, realtor. So there's another house like 5 minutes from here in this like really cute neighborhood that Star doesn't want to go see because she thinks it's too expensive. But I keep telling her she could probably get the price down in her budget because it's been on the market for like 2 months at this point, and we're pretty sure that we could get it down. But she's too worried about the price, so she doesn't want to go see it. Do you think it's like 5 minutes from here? Do you just want to go see it? And my realtor was like, oh yeah, sure, we can go see that one. I can just like call him now. And I'm like, okay, Mom, you do your thing, I guess. I guess we have time to go see one more house. Long story short, we went to go see that house and I immediately fell in love with it. It was one of those things where like the pictures were just kind of okay. But then you actually get in this space and it actually feels really nice. The backyard's a good size and there's no carpet that smells like cat pee. And it was like kind of recently renovated, so nothing super broken. All 5 of us are just like wandering around the house and we're all kind of falling in love with it simultaneously for different reasons. Cause like my brother's really big into gardening and I told him basically, it's like, hey, I don't want to do yard maintenance. Do you guys just like want to have free reign over my backyard? My brother was like, yeah. The backyard was nice and flat and easy to take care of, but it's like not huge, but it's big enough to like, you know, put some garden beds and plant some trees and stuff. It's a good size. It's a little smaller than my current place, but you know, it just means that I wouldn't have an extra bedroom that I'm not using. It's got a lot of features that I really like. And so the one thing I was worried about was the price. And so I told my realtor, I'm like, that's kind of what I'm worried about. And my realtor was like, well, this house hasn't sold in like 2 months. I think they probably have that price set too high for a house this size. If we shoot them a lower offer, we could probably negotiate with them. And I'm like, okay, so what are you thinking? And she's like, well, we could probably easily get them back down to like, it'd be, you know, right at the top of your budget, but it would still be within your budget. And I'm like, if you want to try that, then sure. And so when my realtor actually put in the offer, she actually lowballed them a little bit more. She took it down, you know, like 20K and then like snuck in another like 2 or 3K underneath it. That way they'll probably negotiate us back up to the max you want to pay. And we'll see how the negotiations go. They took the first offer we sent them. They just really wanted to get rid of the house because it was vacant. No one was living there and no one had been living there since like New Year's. And they're just like, okay, yeah, you want to give us money for this house? Yeah, take it. Take it, no questions asked. Just, you're only giving us this much? Okay, sure, hi, there. And I'm like, okay. So that's what happened. Very serendipitous. We got the house inspection. There is literally nothing wrong with it except I have to bother a plumber to come in for like 30 minutes and like swap some parts out. Your mom is going to remind you about it for the rest of your life. I mean, see, that's the thing though. She's got such a good instinct for that kind of thing. It's a little bit scary sometimes. Mom actually sent me the listing for the first art job I ever got too. My job at the educational company, she sent me the listing. I had looked past it because I'm like, I don't know, that job doesn't sound fun. I ended up getting that job and I worked there for like 3 years. But yeah, so everything is going according to plan on that one. And then the selling of my current place is going pretty smoothly as well. So all goes according to plan and nothing crazy happens. I should be moving in like right at the beginning of April. So yippee! But yeah, it was a very cool moment because the fact that just by pure coincidence, we were all there, like the whole family got to be there the first time we looked at the house and we all kind of fell in love with it for different reasons. And even my dad, who's like hard to impress, he's like, yeah, no, I don't see anything wrong with this. It seems like a good one for you. Because my dad's an architect. And so he like is very looking at fucking everything. And he's like, and so we're just like all walking through this house. And my brother and his girlfriend are like, we can help you paint it. Because a lot of the rooms in the house are painted kind of weird colors. And so one of the first things we're going to do, like even before I move my stuff in, is we're going to paint the whole place. It was just, it felt very serendipitous, like the whole thing. I was stressed out of my mind about like trying to find a new place and what was going to happen if I couldn't find something new in time and all this stuff. And it all just kind of worked out like really smoothly. The thing is, if you guys have watched my first house buying story, you guys would know there was a little bit of drama during the purchasing process because they found a lien on the property like 2 weeks before closing. And it was kind of a stressful nightmare. We found out about that at about this point in the process. And so I'm just like, I'm to the point where I really don't have to do much of anything else. And I'm just sitting here like waiting for shit to hit the fan. I'm like, this is the part where the shit happens. When is it gonna happen? I'm on alert. It's gonna happen. Something is gonna happen. Although, you know what happened instead is that my computer exploded. I guess that's your recap. I guess that's the recap of what the last couple of weeks of Star Life has been like. It's been 50 minutes.